Hey, Whitney, thanks for doing this article. You did a great job, did the research really well. Just got to go through some formatting thing, which is kind of expected. Anytime a new writer works for me, that's something that we always work on. So let's just kind of get through that. And I promise you that next articles will be a lot easier, but you did a great job. So let me just kind of walk you through some of the changes. Um, my mistake, what I should have done was given you examples of reviews that I have written that are about MLMs. Okay. First and foremost, you know, we try to be as neutral as possible with MLMs. We never say that because you have to invest in the business that it's a scam. That's misinformation that's always provided to people. What we can say is that you shouldn't have to spend a ridiculous amount of money to join a business because at the end of the day, creating any business does require an investment, but you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to necessarily do that. Keep in mind that the purpose of these articles is obviously to try to be objective and break down the good and the bad about them, but also give people alternatives, which is always going to be my calls to action, which you didn't include in your article. But this is my call to action where I'm promoting Wealthy Affiliate, which is a training center that teaches people how to create their own website, make money with their website, and do affiliate marketing. You can join it for free, but there's also a premium version of it that costs like $49 per month. So it's actually very affordable compared to some of the MLMs you see. But the purpose, again, of all these articles is to give people alternatives to whatever opportunity we're reviewing. Okay. So it's very, very important that we include our calls to action multiple times within our article, as I've done here. And you'll see that I have multiple calls to action here. And this is how you should phrase the calls to action, exactly how I have them here. In addition to that, I also have my own little courses that I mentioned at the end, which you should definitely mention as well in the end. But definitely this call to action, my Wealthy Affiliate call to action, should be mentioned multiple times within the article where it's appropriate. Okay. Few things. First thing we want to do is change this to ACN review. All of our articles should start with that. I probably failed to mention that. Review colon sorry. Is it legitimate? Something we try to do is try to keep this a little witty. So we might want to say, is it an MLM scam or is it actually legit? But be a little witty here. But definitely want to include scam and then some type of legit or real deal, something, or does it work? So you can kind of be a little creative with that. I wasn't as creative here with this particular review, but if you look at some of my other reviews here, I'll show you. And definitely you want to look at the other reviews just to see how I do things. But see that this one I said, hey, Digit app review, is it a savings scam or the real deal? Is it a get paid scam or actually legit? So just be a little creative in terms of that headline here. Um, I'm not sure if who is ACN is what people are searching for. Most of the times my headlines are based on what people are searching for. So I would put what is ACN. Okay. Other than that, this is fine. Products. So kind of, and this is a recurring theme that I'm going to tell you, try to make it very easy to scan and read um, this stuff. We never want to have blocks of text because it makes it hard for people to read and they won't read it. So you want to sit there and kind of format, especially when you're doing list formats like this. So you want to do that. The other thing too is you're not using the proper formatting that was in the video where I said that the headlines all should have H heading 2. So this should be a heading 2 and this should be a heading 2. So all of this has to be changed into a heading 2. Just follow what I kind of mentioned in the video. So you need to kind of update that. But again, like when you're listing things out like this, you want to kind of bold it so it's just easy to read for people. Otherwise, it's just like a big block of text and it's just not good from a standpoint. You also didn't do the SEO aspect too. So as I mentioned in the video, everything that you're writing has to be based on a keyword here. So the keyword would be ACN here. And then you're trying to make sure that it's good. So right now it's good. So that's good. The readability is probably bad. And if you actually look at the readability advice here, and just scan over each thing here, I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it. And probably the biggest thing is that the sentences aren't broken up nicely. But that's, again, I had mentioned that in the video that needs to be done. The category, good job, you picked that. I would also pick MLM. I think I have a field here. Yep, because it's an MLM. And then from a tag standpoint, I would have just ACN, MLM, phone, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but more importantly, you need to format this like I laid out in the video. So go through here and format that. You might want to break some of these things out because again, it just becomes a wall of text. So you might want to say, have a subheadline saying, this is the residential services, then you do the residential. Then you go to the business services. Oh, so you did that actually here, which is good. So, but kind of, again, just make it easier to read because, again, it's just like a wall of text. Same thing here with making this an H2. Break out the thing again so it's a little easier to read because it just becomes like a wall of text. So, use subheadlines. So personal residual compensation. I'd probably make that its own little subheadline, and then I would talk about it. Same thing here. Um, Same thing here in terms of making this a heading tag. Complaints. So now the complaints, this is where we need a lot more work. Complaints, you don't want people having to read like a whole story. And you kind of did that with one of these things, and you kind of just told like the whole story. We want to sit there and make the complaints very punchy, easy to read, an overview, so that people can get in and out, and we can get them into our referral here. So, and you want to use subheadings again just to make it easier. So the pros, you could see I've listed pros here for this particular company. Very easy to scan. And then same thing with the complaints, like difficult to make a full-time income, which is the case with most MLMs. And I expect that would be for this ACN. And then you just discuss in high level, like people have complained. You don't have to say reviewers, just say people have complained that X, Y, and Z and kind of sum it up. The products are expensive. Again, people have complained that the products are expensive. You could buy cheaper, blah, 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 blah. Their recruiting method. So you need to do that with this here, because I think I've only saw like one or two main complaints. I think there are actually probably more than that, but I could be wrong. But at the very least, this definitely needs to be cleaned up so that it's easier to understand and read, and it's just like overviews. So just kind of do that. I did the same thing with this review here in Nerium. I just broke down. It's not a job, which people want, their purchases, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to kind of break that down. What we like about that section. I forgot to mention like a section like how do you join ACN, which I kind of did here. Where is it? What are the complaints? How much is it to become? Yeah, so this is kind of like where you ask like how do you join this? I did the same thing for Pampered Chef. See the pros, the cons, how do you become a rep? So I think that's probably worth putting in there so that you can explain the fees. And then when you complain about the fees, it makes a little more sense. It won't blindside people. So that's something that you might want to do before what we like about ACN. And if you did it up here, you want to break it out so it's a little clearer and easier. So yeah, clean this up again with the tags, the heading tags, make that the proper tag, and just make this easier to read. The same thing with the product complaints. Like we don't want to. This is just like too much. It's like a wall of text that no one really wants to read. You want to just make it very easy to scan. And then this we want to kind of be kind of neutral in that, like, we could say that, hey, you know what, technically standing, it's definitely a legitimate company. It has services that people offer, but given some of the complaints that people have, it may not be something that I would necessarily try myself, especially because the starting fee to join this business is $4.99. And again, this is not to work for a company. This is, again, a misconception with people that don't necessarily know about work at home. They think that you're paying a fee to work for them, and you're not. You're paying a fee to become a business owner for a given company, and there's a big difference. A job, you're making salary. A business, you have to make your own income by selling whatever the product is. So we never pump that you're working for a company, you're paying to work for a company, because that's a bad information that's given out on the internet. It's not the case at all. It's like you're investing in a business, but is it really worth that amount of money, given the, it's really, really hard to sell the products, or et cetera, et cetera. So you have to change your tone and keep that in mind when we're writing these articles, because that works against what I'm promoting, which is a training center that helps you start your own business. And starting your own business is by far the best way to make money online, in my opinion, and that's the opinion of this blog. So just do that. And again, the calls to action, you need to put all these calls to action. I would advise you to look at some of these articles that I mentioned here, Pampered Chef. Look at all my other reviews, which you can find here, and you'll see how I put in all the calls to action and what they link to. And use the same type of wording that I have here. So it's my number one free work at home recommendation or my top free recommendation. And then I also promote, not in this particular article, but just more of the recent articles. You'll see that I'll promote my courses here as well. So multiple streams of income in my work at home courses. So you can put that towards the end. But this call to action, my free work at home recommendation, it happens multiple times within the article. So I definitely want you to do that. I think that's pretty much it. I think if you clean these sections up, the readability will improve because right now it's really bad. And I know why, because it's just like a lot of walls of text. So it makes it hard to kind of read. But the content in itself is really, really good. You did a great job of that. Like the voice, it's just that we need to organize this better and to kind of follow the video that I sent you about formatting this and making sure that we have everything presented properly and having the calls to action. So that's pretty much it. I don't expect that it should take you a long time to clean all this up, but that's how we want to kind of approach this. Uh, Sorry about that. I forgot to change this. And just, go through this video again, make sure you address what I've mentioned in here. And I think we should be good. And then in the future, I think it'll be easier with some of the other articles. But definitely encourage you to read some of the other MLMs I've written about, which are this one here. And if you just go to the bottom of the page and just do a search for MLMs, you're going to find that I've written about a lot of other ones. But I also want you to read these recent articles because it shows you like how I enter my calls to action. So these are probably more relevant in terms of how to handle the calls to action. But these are the ones I've done from an MLM standpoint. Okay. Thanks for again doing this. Thanks for your patience. I think the next article will be much, much easier, but this is always kind of expected with the first article. Thanks.